Hello everyone, I've been asked to do a video for coughs and colds, and as we are moving into that season in the Northern Hemisphere, I thought it was a good idea. However, for myself, I find the colds that I get at autumn and spring are probably the worst ones at the change of season, but I haven't had one for years actually, touch wood. Okay. So I don't promise that this is going to get rid of it for you, but will give your energy system a boost to help your immune system fight it. Okay. So before we start, I'm just going to spray some of this Celtic Reiki essence over you, and this is made from silver birch and Scots pine. Spray it over me too. So it is very antiseptic, but it is very grounding at the same time. And I want you just to imagine a big oak tree. I want you to look at that trunk and cast your eyes down towards the ground, imagining its roots growing out of you. Feel yours growing into the roots of this oak as well. We're going to come back to looking at this oak tree later, okay? I'd like you to take shallow breaths. I don't want you to make yourself cough. I want you to just take a shallow breath with the intention from the earth and breathing the illness out into it. Then I want you to take just a little breath from the sky element and breathe your worries out into the air. Then I want you to take a breath from the water and breathe that mucus out into the water. And then I want you to take a breath in from the sun and breathing out that frustration towards it and that illness to burn through the germs. Okay. And then relax. We're going to start relaxing you now. All right. So starting at the head, consciously relax the hairs on your head. Move down to your forehead and your temples, checking for any tension and gently letting that tension go. Move down under your eyes and cheeks and around the jaw, checking for any tension and gently letting that tension go. Relax, relax. Relaxing your mouth and your tongue, your neck and your shoulders, drop them and relax the arms, checking for the tension and gently letting that tension go. Relaxing your wrists and your finger joints, making sure that they are relaxed too. Now we move down the trunk of your body, checking for any tension and gently letting that tension go. Relaxing your abdomen and your lower back. And now your thighs and your glutes, even your knees, checking for any tension and gently letting that tension go. And your shins, calves and ankles, the soles of your feet and your little toes, checking for any tension and gently letting that tension go. Relax, relax. Nobody wants anything from you at this moment, and nobody needs anything from you at this moment. Okay, excuse me. Now, I have a number of objects here. We've already used the spray. I'm going to get you to open your mouth and stick your tongue out, and I'm going to drip some of this essence from oak for strength from the Glastonbury chalice well. There we go, 7 for good luck. And just feel that in your mouth, let it just seep in. And I want you to consciously thank the goddess, because that water has literally sprung out of her bowels at Glastonbury Tor. Okay. So before I start, I'm going to put some wild orange onto my hands. We're working with all kinds of things that will boost your immunity today. Okay. Oh, smell that if you can. If not, just breathe and imagine its essence moving into your aura. Going to waft it over you and behind you, and imprinting that vitamin C into your body. Okay. So I want you now to imagine yourself in a clearing in the trees, and this is a magical place. And we're going to have different trees from different countries in there. Okay, so first of all, your mighty oak, the durier. And I want you just to look at this oak tree, and I want you to imagine a uniform shape of the branches and the leaves like your lungs. Okay, our lungs resemble a uniform tree. The placenta in women also looks like a tree. And also, in a way, our brain looks like a tree, doesn't it? Okay. So you're actually opposite this tree now. And I want you to lie down on the ground and just look up at this uniform shape of the durier. And draw it down you, the durier. Oak of the Druids, oldest of woods. Okay, now I want you to look at this, and with each breath out, just gently breathing out the grey illness, and then breathing in white from the tree. Remember, the tree is helping you to breathe because it breathes the CO2 that you breathe out, and it breathes out the oxygen. So breathe in white, breathing out grey, breathing in the white, breathing out the grey, breathing in the white, and breathing out the grey, breathing in the white, breathing out the grey, breathing in the white, and breathing out the grey. And I now want you just to set your mind to do that subconsciously, okay? And don't worry about breathing out the illness, because the trees will absorb it and take it down into the earth and make that good, and it won't affect them. Okay. So the next tree that wanted to come and help, it literally got picked out, was Quet, the apple. Apple a day keeps the doctor away, doesn't it? I'm going to draw this down you. Quet. And we've already mentioned Glastonbury. And the priestesses of Glastonbury at the autumn equinox would do a 3-day apple cleanse. They'd eat nothing but apples, drink nothing but apple juice, to cleanse and clear their system. So we're just going to channel some of this quirt to you. And I want you to look around this little grove and find an apple tree. It won't be nearly as big as the oak because they like to grow close to humans. They're happy, they laugh, they bring gayest, buoyant energy. And if we cut an apple across the equator, it makes a star. And you can also use that star to balance the Leonardo da Vinci drawing of the human, the man, with his legs like that, his arms like that, and his head, touching all the elements. You can do that in your mind, but you can also do that in real life. So I'm just going to channel the energy of apple towards you. I'm just going to push it in as I do it, and I'm just thinking of these beautiful apple trees that I look after because I run a couple of orchards. They're not big, but I've got about 30 to 40 apple trees in my care, as well as plums, green gages, pears, and quince. But let's think of those apples, those rosy apples. And I want you just now to walk over to that tree in your mind, and I want you to pick an apple with a rosy cheeks and bite into it, tasting its juice, letting it filter down into your taste buds. Even if you can't taste, you know what an apple tastes like. Chewing it and feeling it slip down your esophagus and into your stomach, where those nutrients are going to spread around the body. Body knows what to do, doesn't it? It doesn't need any help from us. But helping thinking about things works. Okay, so the next tree that we picked out was the Rowan, or the mountain ash, or aspen even. Luish. Draw that into you. Luish. Now I'm not sure about the American mountain ash or aspens, but the rowan tree was traditionally used against coughs and colds. The red, orange and yellow berries were collected and they were made into a syrup. However, this is poisonous to little children and elderly people, so they would also pick the berries and thread them onto some cotton or a string, let them dry, and make a necklace to put about the neck. So protection. But the syrup. So I want you now to imagine that I've got a spoon, I'm just pouring out Luish, the Rowan, and I take that golden syrup. Hold it in your mouth for a minute and then swallow that golden nectar mixed with honey from your locality and let it slip down your esophagus as well. Okay. And then the next card that jumped out when I was looking for immune system boosts was a pomegranate tree. All of those brilliant red antioxidant superfoods this is, isn't it? And see the tip? I'd like you to cut a star, 8-pointed star around the top. Then hold it in your hands, and then at each section put a knife in. You might have seen this on Facebook or Instagram. You're going to cut 8 slabs, and then you're going to peel it open, and those little berries will be there to eat. And put them in your mouth and let the seed burst. And swallow that. It's very expensive juice to buy, but if you can do this to get yourself better, then that is good. And I'm now just channeling the pomegranate towards you. So, we have the douillet, the oak, for strength and standing, and to visualize those white, healthy lungs that you are breathing the grey out of. We've had the orange. On my hands, I can smell it still. You can also imagine eating those lovely segments, drinking loads of orange juice. Imagine walking through the orange plantations in Florida or South America somewhere, or over Europe. We've had this pomegranate with the superfood. Cherries could be included that. You could also imagine a cherry tree in your grove. And we've had the apple, quert. And we've had the Louis, the Rowan. So I'm now just going to hold these in the Druid symbol, the Ahwan. Okay. So the douillet, the oak, is in the middle of you, and I want you just to feel that symbol. My guide, Druid guide, is going to draw that down your front line now, from the solstice at the top of your head, whether it be summer or winter, it depends which part of the world you're in, right down your center line and drawing those. And then we're going to go with the quert. As you hold arms out in this shape, the quert is going to be drawn also from your crown all the way down to your hand. For the equinox, and then for the other equinox, we'll have the Louis down the other arm, and those 3 essences channeled towards you. Just going to lay those in front of you now to radiate down you. Okay. All right, so now I had a look for crystals, okay? Now fluorite is meant to help with colds and coughs. And so we're going to just pull. I'm going to imagine me wrapping all of this illness, pulling it away. Down your back line. Oh, it's really heavy, this. Okay, and over each side. Okay, I want you just to imagine that this is now being spiraled in And I'm going to spiral it into your crown. And then down to your third eye. Down to your throat, which may be sore. Down into your chest. Into your stomach. And your sacral and your root. Okay. Okay, I'm going to poke that right behind you. Okay, the other stones was labradorite. And if you have small pieces of fluorite and labradorite, you can make it into a gem elixir. So you can put it in a glass of water, check that they're not toxic. I don't think they are, but I want you to check that they're not toxic. If it says they are, then you would need to get a bowl of water, a glass, and put the stone into the glass to radiate out into the water. We're just going to rub your aura down with this now. And I want you to still start breathing out the grey again and breathing in the white and visualizing that healthy tree, which is your lungs. I know people who have looked at pictures of livers and made themselves better. So, really focusing on that tree now as I rub your aura. Breathing out grey and breathing in white light. Back of your head if you've got a stuffy head. Okay. Relax, relax. Nobody wants anything from you at this moment, and nobody needs anything from you at this moment. You just need to focus on getting better, getting those nutrients in you. And you can use this if you have something worse than a cold, okay? I'm not going to say it. We all know what's around at the moment. You know, use this to calm you down if you're worrying. Okay? And you can use that fluorite to soothe any temperatures. That stone was so cold for me to hold. Okay. And finally, the last stone I read about was Larimar, which is very expensive. The largest piece I have is actually on this pendant. So I'm just going to hold this at your throat. I'm just going to pull away some of the soreness down the esophagus and soothe. Again, you could make an elixir out of this, but I would get you to check that it's not toxic, health and safety and all of that malarkey. Okay. Now, before we finish, I am going to draw some symbols into you. And the first one is going to be one called Moto Zenon, and it is for infections, okay? I can't show you what it looks like because all of my symbol cards are packed because I'm going to finally visit my family tomorrow after 2 years. Okay, so I'm just going to place a hand on your shoulder, pointing in at your neck, okay? And I'm going to draw this symbol. I'm going to draw it in between here where the sinuses are and here, okay? In fact, a bit lower to your heart chakra. And this wiggly bit in the middle, I want you to imagine that going into your system and hooking onto the illness. And then I'm going to pull it out. Okay, do it again. sending in the little zigzaggy widget to latch on, and then making the hook and pulling it out. And again, motor xenon, making a hook, pushing it in and then pulling it out. Holding that vibration, visualizing the motor xenon, which is used in Reiki Sacrum, but it is also used in angelic Reiki, and it was gifted, the symbol came through at the HIV/AIDS epidemic in the 80s, 90s, okay? All right, breathe out. Okay, and now I'm going to draw the master symbol completely down you. Daikumyo. Daikumyo. And Daikumyo. Okay, placing my hands over your shoulders, I would like you to imagine looking at the tree trunk of your oak tree. Cast your eyes down towards the ground, looking at the earth, feeling your root system spread out and join with all of these trees. The apple, the oak, the rowan, the orange, the pomegranate, and we mentioned cherries as well, and we did also mention silver birch for that freshness, that antiseptic energy. Okay, and the labradorite, the larimar, and the fluorite. Okay. Remember, have a lot of drink, flush it out, okay? And I'm wishing you health to come. Keep visualizing that oak tree is your lungs, breathing out grey like the Chinese do and breathing in white. Okay. Bye-bye now.